Hey, good morning. Hope everybody's doing really well this Monday morning. Hope you had a terrific weekend. I'm pumped about another exciting week of school, and I hope you are as well. Hey, I'm going to jump right in. Every week, I'm going to try to continue bringing you a leadership lesson, something that you can discuss during your morning check-ins, and something that maybe might help guide your thoughts and leadership actions this week. So this week, I'm using one of my favorite superhero characters. It is none other than Spider-Man. You know, Spider-Man was created back in 1962 by comic book legend Stan Lee. And what a great story it is. If you don't know the full story of Spider-Man, I'm just going to share it with you today, and we're going to talk about the power and the responsibility that we learn from Spider-Man. Let's start by looking at some early comic strips. If you're familiar with this story, here's what happens, man. Peter Parker gets bitten. He gets bitten by a really, really powerful spider, and he notices something wild is going on in his hand. He can't figure it out, but he starts to have some changes. Something's going on within his body, and he can't quite figure it out. But over the course of the next several days, Peter Parker begins to develop and discover some really new powers. All of a sudden, he's been meek and mild, and he's like fighting the town bully in school, and not just fighting him, I mean laying that dude out. And Peter Parker is like, whoa man, something is happening. I am developing some really unique powers. He begins to like scale buildings. He begins to shoot spider webs out of his hands. He doesn't really know where it's coming from, but he begins to understand that he is developing powers. Now, in our life, this could be like skills, other things that we're honing and becoming really strong in. It could be athletically, it could be in the classroom, it could be musically as you play your violin or your trumpet. But whatever it is, Peter Parker, just like you, is developing strengths and developing skills. Now, Peter Parker has a really influential character in his life. His name is Uncle Ben. Now, Uncle Ben notices that something is going on with Pete, and he says, hey man, I know you're going through some changes. I see you're developing some new strengths or skills, but be sure you understand with all this new power also comes great responsibility. Well, Peter Parker is really just like really excited about his strength, his power, his quickness. And so what does he do? Man, he signs up to go to like a wrestling match. And he puts on this new Spider-Man outfit that he creates for himself. He goes into the ring and he absolutely uses his power to dominate a much bigger, much stronger opponent. And so he's excited and he's pumped up. And at the end of the match, he thinks he's going to win $3,000. So he goes to the promoter's office, and that promoter tells him, man, I'm only giving you $100. You pinned the guy too quick. Take your $100 and get out of there. And Peter Parker's really upset, man. He's got all these powers and these strengths, and yet he walks out of that office feeling very bitter. Right behind him comes a guy who robs the promoter. He goes in and actually beats the promoter up and takes a bag of money and takes off running down the hall. Well, Peter Parker's standing right there. He's got all this strength and all this power, and he could easily stop that robber, pin him to the floor, help recover that money, and give it back to the promoter. But you know what he does instead? Peter Parker does nothing. He lets the elevator open. He lets the bad guy get in the elevator, and he lets him get away. Even the police officer looks at him and says, man, what is the matter with you? You had the ability, the power, and the strength to do something really good there, and instead you sat on your hands. So Peter Parker is starting to really begin to wrestle with this idea of power and strength and also responsibility that comes along with it. Hey, I want you to think for a few minutes. What are some of your strengths and your powers and your skills, and how might you be able to use them for others? I'm going to give you a few minutes to just enjoy reflecting and listening to some Spider-Man theme music. All right, guys, as you start off a new week, I hope you can share a little bit about some of the strength and the power and the skill set that you have. And maybe you can even think about a time where you've used those powers for good, to help other people, to help your family members, to help classmates, to help teachers. You know, at Allen J. Prep, our motto, our vision for the school is written all over the place. It's embedded in the Leader's Creed, but it basically says we believe in integrity first. That means doing the right thing all the time. Service above self. We use our strength, our powers, and our skills to serve other people. And lastly, excellence in everything we do. I challenge you this week. Think about the power and the strength you have and use it responsibly. All right? Hey, at the end of every week, I also like to announce the house winner. So last week on Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, when we went live, that was the first day that we began using our Scholar Dollar points across the school. Those Scholar Dollars are, of course, connected to your individual account. They're also connected to your house. And on every Monday, I like to announce the house winner for the week. So if we were in Raleigh right now, Mr. Will would have this big flag, and he would be waving it, and he would wait for the screen to blow up, showing us which house has the most points. Well, here it is. Mr. Will's not with me this afternoon recording it, but our week 1 house winner. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Nike House. Nike House with 535 Scholar Dollars this week. Dynamis in second. And then look, only 1 point separating Hegemon and Sabio. Just want to challenge you. Do your absolute best this week. Teachers are going to be continuing to reinforce those positive behaviors in the classroom and rewarding you with Scholar Dollars. Make sure to check into your live instruction. Get to your encore classes today. Get all of your assignments done. And I hope you have a fantastic week. Take care, guys.